Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for joining us today to mark the start of construction on this project that's so critical to the water reliability of millions of people in Southern California in our service area. As chair of Metropolitan's Engineering, Operations, and Technology Committee, I'm honored to serve alongside my colleagues to help advance the initiatives like this one that make our region stronger. I'm Dennis Erdman, and I'm your Master of Ceremonies today. This project is just one example of the extraordinary work happening across Southern California to achieve water reliability in the face of ever-changing challenges. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge some people we have joining us today, some dignitaries from our agencies. Andy Cordeshi, Los Virgenes Water District. Thank you, Andy. Dave Peterson, Los Virgenes Water District. Dave, welcome. David Pettijohn, Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. Director Jackie McMillan from the Callejas Municipal Water District, representing Metropolitan. Director Jay Lewitt from the Los Virgenes Municipal Water District. Christine McCaffrey, Callejas Municipal Water District General Manager. Christine. Len Poland from Los Virgenes Municipal Water District. Welcome, Len. Randall Levine, Los Virgenes Water District. Raul Avila, Callejas Municipal Water District. And Scott Cady, Callejas Municipal Water District. Thank you all for joining us today and for being with us to commemorate this milestone. Metropolitan likes to begin events with a safety moment, and to bring that safety moment here today, I'd like to bring our resident engineer to share a message with us, Wendy Nguyen. Wendy?
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Wendy Nguyen. I am Metropolitan's resident engineer on this project. As we celebrate the start of the Sepulveda Feeder Pump Station project, I'd like to take a moment to highlight the importance of safety, especially when working in or around major construction. Before starting construction activities, our field teams routinely conduct safety toolbox meetings, and I'd like to share an example of one of those talks today, focusing on excavation hazards. So let's dig into it. Excavations are inherently dangerous environments. Cave-ins can result in serious injuries or work fatalities, but they can absolutely be avoided when using protective systems and when safety is prioritized, as it is at Metropolitan. In nearly every instance, these incidents can occur due to the absence of protective systems or the use of improper ones. For all excavations, including trenches, it is critical to use appropriate protective systems such as shoring, sloping or benching, or trench boxes. On this project, we have implemented shoring using approved beam and plate systems to provide the necessary protections. It's also important to have a competent person on site to inspect and improve these protective systems before each shift. Excavated materials and equipment must be kept at least 2 feet from the edge of excavation, and safe access such as ladders, stairways, and ramps must be provided at every 25 feet of travel distance. OSHA reminds us that cave-ins most commonly occur in trenches between 5 and 15 feet deep. Even a small amount of soil can exert immense pressure. Safety in excavation work is not about luck. It's about awareness, preparation, and doing things the right way every time. These safety toolbox meetings serve as important reminders to stay aware and prepared throughout construction. With the right tools, procedures, mindset, and teamwork, we are well positioned to successfully deliver on this project. The Sepulveda Feeder Pump Stations will be a critical component to our water delivery system, providing water to northern Los Angeles and southern Ventura counties, especially to serve communities during times of drought. We look forward to the safe and successful completion of this project. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Wendy. We're grateful to you and the hard work and dedication you and your staff put into this project. I have two additional dignitaries to talk about this morning, and that's Director Burns from the Los Virgenes Water District. Director Burns, welcome. And I failed to mention earlier that Director Nancy Sutley is here. We'll be talking to the group a little bit later, so she'll be introduced in a few moments. Now I'd like to introduce our general manager, who officially took over to lead this agency on the 1st of January, Shivaji Deshmukh. Shivaji, welcome to day 21.
Thanks, Director Erdman. It's such a pleasure to be here today. This project really reflects the work Metropolitan does and what we do best in terms of being responsive to our member agencies. It's also extra special for me because in my former life, I worked at one of 6 member agencies that had challenges during the last drought because we were in state water project dependent areas. So it's great to be able to celebrate this quick investment and focus that Metropolitan did, focusing on the west side of our service area. As I mentioned, 4 years ago, Metropolitan learned of a weakness in our system. It wasn't always there. It emerged as we entered into a new world of warmer temperatures and more severe droughts. For decades, we had operated our system in a way that allowed us to ensure water reliability in our communities across Southern California, taking advantage of investments in diverse supplies. But when we were in this drought and supplies from the State Water Project were limited, we delivered Colorado River water to make sure that those demands were met. The limited State Water Project available was reserved for those communities that didn't have access to this Colorado River supplies, communities in Ventura County, as well as northern and eastern Los Angeles County. And for decades, that system worked. But 4 years ago, we entered into a new reality because of climate change. And from 2020 to 2022, we saw the driest 3 years on record. Deliveries from the State Water Project were cut to levels lower than anyone had experienced before. And those communities dependent almost exclusively on the State Water Project were hit hard. There was simply not enough state water to meet their demands. With little or no access to other supplies, Metropolitan was forced to impose mandatory watering restrictions for these areas. This had never happened before, and Metropolitan committed to taking action to avoid that it would never happen again. So here we are today, taking a step to fulfill that commitment. When our water delivery system was originally built, it largely took advantage of gravity to move water across Southern California. That made it challenging to bring Colorado River water to these State Water Project dependent areas. The Sepulveda Feeder Pump Station project overcame those challenges. It re-engineered our system using pumps to deliver water from the Colorado River and allowed us to move Diamond Valley Lake water to these communities by reversing flows in existing pipelines. So behind us is one of 2 pump stations being constructed. When this project is complete, Metropolitan will be able to deliver up to 22,000 acre-feet a year of additional water to these dependent areas. A second stage could also further expand delivery of that water. Simply put, this project strengthens our ability to move water where it's needed, when it's needed most during droughts, during emergencies, and when major infrastructure must be taken out of service for maintenance or rehabilitation. It's also very important to note how we are delivering this project. Metropolitan is using a progressive design build approach, a delivery method that allows designers and builders to work collaboratively from the very beginning. And we envision this as a future way for us to deliver projects at Metropolitan. You'll hear more about the design build approach or alternative delivery approach from our chief engineer when she speaks. But I just want to say we're grateful for the opportunity to use this important tool on this project. Once again, I'm grateful to everyone who has been working hard to advance this project, as well as our member agencies who have been great partners in moving this forward. So thank you for the opportunity to share some of my thoughts today. Thank you, Director.
Thank you, Mr. General Manager. I neglected to introduce Director Jay, who's also with us today from Metropolitan Water District. Nice to have you here. Thank you. And now, as the General Manager just indicated, we're going to hear from May Hattar, who's going to speak about the progressive design build. May?
Thank you, Director Erdman, and welcome everybody here to Metropolitan's Venice pressure control structure and our project site. I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about our innovative approach to using progressive design build for the Sepulveda Feeder Pump Stations. As you all know, Metropolitan was founded in 1928 to design, build, and operate the Colorado River Aqueduct, and continued with that to develop facilities to tie into the state project water system. So for that whole time, 97, 98 years, Metropolitan delivered our large infrastructure projects in the same way, using design bid build. So that means we develop detailed drawings, specifications. We really endeavor to get it 100% right. We publish a notice inviting bids. We opened those bids, and in the days before the pandemic, it was literally that we tore open envelopes and looked at those prices and wrote them down. And then we go to our board and we ask them to award to the lowest responsible bidder. But these traditional project delivery methods, while they're still useful for many projects and the vast majority of the way we do the work, they require designs to be fully complete before construction begins. And for complex infrastructure projects like this, it can mean long schedules, limited flexibility, and higher risks when unforeseen conditions arise. Recognizing these challenges, and you just heard from our general manager on the importance of enhancing supply reliability for straight project water dependent areas, Metropolitan advocated for additional project delivery tools and with the help of many of you. And the state legislature passed AB 1845 to give Metropolitan the tools to deliver projects like this one efficiently and effectively. The Sepulveda Feeder Pump Station is not a simple construction effort. It involves two separate sites, one here at Venice, one up at our Sepulveda pressure control structure. It's very complex hydraulics to go from an all-gravity system to something that is pumping into this whole complicated metropolitan system, and something we have to work very closely with our operations folks on developing that. And challenging geology, always remembering that Southern California is a seismic area, and you can see the tight operational areas that we have here, and in the middle of a very urban area. So, and during prolonged droughts, it will need to operate reliably to maintain uninterrupted water service to our customers. So this progressive design build approach is a valuable tool to help streamline this project. Progressive design build brings the designers, builders, and Metropolitan, really importantly, both our design and operating staff together, the earliest stage of the projects to collaborate as a single team. This early collaboration allows us to identify risks sooner, evaluate our progress in real time, and make decisions before the designs are finalized, reducing the likelihood of costly changes later in construction. It also allows us to procure the equipment early. This, in my opinion, is really critical and a huge advantage to this delivery message. For this project, it allows us to buy in advance the large pumps. I think they're 2,800 horsepower at this site. large valves from 24-inch to 54-inch in the electrical equipment. This equipment can take many months, and with the supply chain issues, we still experience even sometimes years for this really specialized large industrial equipment. So this shortens the overall project schedule and helps ensure the pump stations are operational. Because in addition to just the time to get the equipment, it's important when we get the information, the submittal information about the equipment, and can fold that into our design process. And that's a lot of what's work that's going on right now on this project. And working closely with our operations staff. Progressive design build also provides strong cost control as design progresses. We work collaboratively with the design build teams to develop guaranteed maximum prices that are supported by independent cost estimates and rigorous reviews. This process balances flexibility and accountability, allowing innovation while protecting Metropolitan and our ratepayers. Progressive design build and really the collaboration that it fosters strengthens safety and quality, supports a skilled and trained workforce, encourages coordination across the disciplines, and allows safety considerations to be integrated into design decisions from day one. And I really want to recognize the work of our project team on this. And I apologize, but I'm going to first start with engineering because it takes every portion of the organization, starting with our facility planning folks who are working closely with the member agencies, conceived this project to pump water up the Sepulveda feeder. And then I've got a group of my unit managers, 30 plus years experience, really understanding metropolitan processes in design, construction management, construction contracts, who have really been champions for this effort. Opposite of what you would expect, they are so excited about this and modeling this to their staff. And I definitely want to thank our design build partners, JFSHA and Tetra Tech. You guys, thank you very much for continuing with this collaborative approach. And then I'm going to thank one individual here, Howard Lum. He's our head of a design and is also really lending direct leadership for the project team. And everything we do within Metropolitan, I don't want to forget. Collaboratively closely with operations and environmental, all of the external affairs folks who makes this all look easy, and especially also our legal folks as we had to develop new contracts. And we did that very effectively and quickly. So the milestones we're acknowledging today demonstrates the progress on this, but I really want to mention it is just a first step. We have a lot of work to do to get this project done, but happy to be doing it with a progressive design build. It's a modern delivery method designed for today's challenges. And looking forward, I also want to mention that in addition to AEB 1849, we also now have SB 991 that allows Metropolitan and other agencies to use progressive design build for water projects in general. So as we look ahead, the lessons we learned here will continue to inform how Metropolitan delivers projects to enhance our water supply reliability. Thank you.
Thank you, May. I think one of the key words you said was teamwork. There is a lot of teamwork that goes on in a progressive design, and it helps the owner, the builder, and the designers to work collaboratively to make it all happen. So I'd like to also acknowledge Director Pacala, who's joined us from the Callegas Municipal Water District. And now, communities across the western portion of metropolitan service area benefit from the increase in reliability that this project will bring. I'd like to introduce Director Jay Lewitt, who represents Metropolitan for the Los Virgenes Municipal Water District, to say a few words.
Thank you, Director Erdman. Never know how to call fellow directors by their first name or director. So good morning, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I want to take a moment to acknowledge distinguished guests, elected officials, and community leaders who are here. On behalf of Los Virgenes Municipal Water District, I want to congratulate Metropolitan Water District on this important milestone. Today's groundbreaking represents more than a construction project. It represents a long-term investment in reliability for the water agencies here in Southern California that depend on the state water project. For agencies like Los Virgenes, Callejas, and the city of Los Angeles, this project matters deeply. During the most recent drought, as our general manager said, Los Virgenes, which serves 122 square miles. Most people don't understand that. They think we're a small district, but we serve 122 square miles in the western Los Angeles County. And we experienced a staggering 74% reduction in our state water project allocation from Metropolitan. That level of reduction has tremendous impacts that were deeply felt in our communities. Their lifestyles changed. It cost a lot of people a lot of money. Nearly all of our water supply comes from the state water project. We have very limited access to Colorado River supplies or Met stored water at Diamond Valley Lake. When the state water project is constrained, our margin for flexibility is extremely limited. That's why being here today to witness this milestone matters. This groundbreaking is a tangible sign of Metropolitan's commitment to improving reliability for the state water project dependent agencies by strengthening regional connectivity and system flexibility. The first stage of this project will allow agencies like ours to access Metropolitan's common pool of water supplies in the Los Angeles basin, moving more than 13,000 gallons per minute in the opposite direction over the pass, enough to supply 40,000 homes. Stage 2 of the project, which we desperately need, will expand that capability even further, ultimately allowing more than 70,000 gallons per minute to flow over the Sepulveda Pass, enough water to support 200,000 homes during the next stage state water project shortage, which we know can and will happen. Saltwater intrusion, earthquake, and whoever can figure out the other one will be a wealthy person. But we know that system, and almost everyone in this room has probably seen that system. And if Southern California knew that they would be that reliant on that system, it'd be kind of scary. But that kind of capacity that we're talking about with stage 2 fundamentally changes what we need for our service area. Just as important investments like this move us away from the cycle of on again, off again emergency conservation measures that communities are repeatedly asked to shoulder. Instead, they help create a more stable, predictable water future, one where conservation remains important, but no longer feels like a crisis response when and if the state water faces its constraints. As a final note, I want to emphasize that the water challenges ahead of us cannot be solved by any one single agency acting alone. These solutions require collaboration, innovation, and a shared willingness to try new approaches. At Los Virgenes, we look to large agencies like Metropolitan and our peers across the industry for ideas we can adapt and scale locally. That spirit of collaboration is reflected in projects like our Pure Water project, which will produce a new local supply through advanced water purification, and our pilot study with Ocean Well, which is exploring a first of its kind offshore desalination solution. These efforts complement rather than replace the regional investments Metropolitan is making today. Together, these projects represent a shared commitment to reliability, innovation, and regional partnership. Today's groundbreaking is an important step forward, and we're proud to stand with Metropolitan as this work moves ahead. Thank you and congratulations again on this incredible milestone.
Thank you, Director Lewitt. Another one of Metropolitan's agencies that will be served by this project is the Calleguas Municipal Water District. And up next to say a few words about Calleguas is Director Jackie McMillan.
Thank you very much. Yes, Calleguas Municipal Water District is a metropolitan member agency serving the southern eastern portion of Ventura County. Now, before Calleguas was formed, the area relied entirely on groundwater. But when faced with reoccurring droughts, not enough groundwater to go around, and challenges with salty groundwater, Calleguas was voted into existence in 1953 on an overwhelming vote, and a new era of water supply reliability began. Calleguas joined Metropolitan in 1960 and connected up to its system just a few short years later. Delivering water first from the Colorado River and later from the State Water Project that enabled the growth of Calleguas service area, a thriving series of communities featuring a biotechnical hub, universities, cultural institutions, and chosen to make Ventura County a vibrant place to work, play, live out their lives. While the region was challenged by numerous droughts over the decades, especially hard, as Calleguas is part of metropolitan state water dependent area. In fact, we are 100% dependent on state water project, and that's why this project is going to be very special. It will help bring DVL water over to the west side where it's greatly needed. Ultimately, our customers and communities had to reduce their water usage to 1 day per week for the outdoors until the hydrology drastically improved in the early 2023. We've been fortunate to enjoy several wet years since then, but we all know the next drought could be right around the corner. And before the next one hits, we need to be better prepared. This investment, the Sepulveda Feeder Pump Station, and stored water around its conveyance system and deliver more water to the state water project development areas when needed as an important one. Today's groundbreaking represents a critical first step in this next era of water supply reliability, one challenged by a changing climate of wetter and drier times and more precipitation falling as rain as opposed to snowfall, but also one where Metropolitan and its member agencies continue to invest in the supplies, storage, programs, and conveyance needed to provide the adaptability, flexibility, and most importantly, reliability for our shared water future. Thank you.
Thank you, Director McMillan. And last but not least, I'd like to introduce the Vice Chair of the Board, Nancy Sutley. She represents the City of Los Angeles, another agency that will be served by this project. Nancy?
Thank you so much, Director Erdman, and it's really great to be here today. I'm not sure if we're in LA or Culver City. Does anybody know? We're right on the border, but if we are in LA, welcome to Los Angeles. This this project, this groundbreaking, is really a critical part of Metropolitan's commitment to water reliability. Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles, was um, one of the founding members of Metropolitan. One could say the driving force behind the founding of Metropolitan, recognizing almost 100 years ago that the strength of every one of our agencies, every one of our cities, was in being able to work together to grow this region into the incredible economic community and for not just California, but for the whole country. And that was made possible by the foresight of all of the founders of Metropolitan and all of those who've been part of it ever since. So this project really represented an important milestone. We've heard from
a number of the speakers about the challenges that the West Side agencies, the state water project dependent areas faced in 2022. And with climate change, we can expect that we will see more of those kinds of conditions. And that from that founding of Metropolitan almost 100 years ago, that founding principle that we are all stronger together, the importance of equitable supplies across the region are even more critical in this age of climate change. So this Sepulveda Feeder Pump Station, located right here along the 405 freeway, is really consistent and amplifies that founding principle that we're all stronger together, ensuring that the communities in this western portion of the service area have more reliable water supplies is good for our entire region. And we all depend on each other. Our communities depend on each other in our workforce, in our economy, in our education, in culture, and how we all share this space together. So as you've heard from the other agencies, we too here in the city of Los Angeles had to cope with the very significant restrictions on water supply in 2022. And we have a history in Los Angeles and across the region of our residents and our businesses conserving water and make sure that we can continue to grow and be a vibrant area. But it's important that we also recognize how important flexibility in the system is, so that we can all thrive together. So I'm very grateful to all of our board members, my colleagues on the board, who recognized how important it was to take action to deal with this issue and provide that additional flexibility for the agencies, the state water project dependent agencies. And I also want to thank, as you heard, the incredible efforts across the metropolitan staff to work on this solution and the bigger solutions that will ensure water supply reliability across the service area. So there's other efforts going on within Metropolitan. There'll be projects that are in process that allow water to be delivered from Diamond Valley Lake and the Colorado River to portions of the San Gabriel Valley and the Inland Empire that also saw water curtailments during the last drought. So all of these projects together will help increase the reliability and equity across our service area. And we have the framework to make sure that we are addressing these issues. That is critical, and it is captured in our climate adaptation strategy. So looking at investments in flexibility and preparedness to make sure that all of our communities are not only addressing the issues we saw in the last drought, but really preparing for the next one. So adaptation master plan for water provides a roadmap on how we'll look at projects and evaluate projects in the future. This effort will continue to support and amplify the mission of Metropolitan to ensure that the 19 million people of Southern California have the water they need in the age of climate change. So there's lots of projects being evaluated, projects here locally, projects across California, like Sites Reservoir, the Pure Water Southern California, and it's helping us to better understand those investments, but investments also in conservation, in local supply development, and new storage, and others that will help best position the region for the challenges of tomorrow. So this groundbreaking today is important because we're starting construction, but it's also important because it reflects that commitment to planning ahead, to adapting to these changing conditions, and to delivering infrastructure that serves the entire region, not just for today, but for generations to come. So thank you all for being here. and being part of this milestone, that for this, not just this project, but for how important it is that we continue to work together to serve all our member agencies and all the communities, so we can have a thriving Southern California for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Sutley. I'd just like to add a personal note that about 2 years ago, I was invited to be part of a phone conversation with Chair Ortega. Um, Mr. Peterson was on the line at that time and other agency managers to talk about the problems that were happening because of the drought and the agencies that were affected, the state water dependent areas. And during that conversation, these projects were discussed, and Metropolitan made a promise to follow through and to make sure that the system here was made more reliable through this project and a number of others that were on the list. And so today, I take a special pride in the fact that this is an indication of a promise delivered, or at least a promise kept, that we're going to build this project and it's going to help the system be more reliable and bring that additional capacity to the west side and state water dependent areas. So thank you for that. And with that, I'd like to invite, bring the keys for the excavator. We could do the groundbreaking here. So we're going to take a few pictures and then that will conclude our ceremony for today. So that's it. Thank you all, folks.
Yeah, I was